This is the first time in history that they have now turned Nigeria, the entire nation, into an IDP camps, where a cup of rice is now being shared to people. They end up hiring hoodlums deliberately to attack peaceful protesters. We can tell you that it is on good account that those that were hired by some House of Rep members in Bayelsa State ended up opening gunfire at the peaceful protesters between Opolo and Biogolo. I'm telling you for free, those within the corridor of power hired thugs to attack peaceful protesters with arms and ammunition, firing openly at peaceful protesters. I was a major target. So the Niger Delta, in as much as we know, is one peculiar region where activism, agitation is always at the top gear. You know, we are known for our agitation on issues that has to do with the people of the Niger Delta. And today is not also this particular nationwide protest against bad governance is not also different. Be that as it may, what we have come to understand and get in this protest is that while the people of the Niger Delta, the masses, the majority of the Niger Delta people are fed up with the cost of living that they are experiencing and the bad governance that they have had over time, those that found themselves within the corridor of power have decided to suppress the voice of the people. You know, the Niger Delta, as I told you earlier before, is one region that we are known for our agitation, especially the Ijaw extraction. But what has come out to play is that those that found themselves within the corridor of power have decided not to give the people the opportunity to express their displeasure. What happened, like in Bayelsa State, the people came out to register their displeasure, and those that found themselves within the corridor of power, both the opposition and the main party, doesn't want the people to express their view. They end up hiring hoodlums deliberately to attack peaceful protesters. We can tell you that it is on good account that those that were hired by some House of Rep members in Bayelsa State ended up opening gunfire at the peaceful protesters between Opolo and Biogolo. And about 16 of them sustained injury, and we are even getting a figure that 2 of those persons that sustained gun injury have died. This is just because those within the corridor of power, both the main party and the opposition, have decided to please the president against the position of those that they are governing. You see, people that found themselves in the pool of our common resources have decided to give the yearnings of the masses deaf ear. In as much as the Niger Delta is concerned, the same scenario that played out in Bayelsa State is the same scenario that played out also in the Warri axis. Those that have found favor within the presidency have decided that everybody must be satisfied the way they are satisfied with the contracts that are before them, and they just want to please Mr. President by suppressing those that want to come out. Like me that is speaking here today, I was even declared wanted to be arrested by the security parastatal by a governor of a state just because IYC, as a youth organization that is not a department of government, happens to have some internal wranglings. This is the first time in history that a serving governor will come out to say that because a youth organization is having issues and for that singular reason, one side of those youth organizations should be arrested just because one side of the leadership refused to toe the path that particular governor refused to toe. And he has decided to declare that particular person wanted, calling a security meeting and telling all the government security parastatals and agencies that because this man is speaking for the masses, that he should be arrested because he doesn't want, or they don't want the world to know that Bayelsa is also having the negative impact of bad governance. Secondly, this is the first time in history that they have now turned Nigeria, the entire nation, into an IDP camps, where a cup of rice is now being shared to people. That is not the Nigeria of our dream. The Nigeria of our dream is a nation that where economy will be booming. Those that have graduated from university can easily get job and feed their family, and not to be fed as refugees. Okay. This is the first time that you will see that a government will be sending out a lot of funds to be given to people to share foods. We don't need food banks. Okay. What we need is job opportunities.
All right, Dr. Theophilus.
The government. Dr. Theophilus. What I'm trying to say is that what I'm trying to let you understand is that the Niger Delta people.
I will allow you to expand on your thoughts. Of course, this interview is continuing. I just wanted to interject just to get your thoughts. And also, I just want to recap. So you're saying that the people of Niger Delta wanted to come out and protest. They attempted to do so. However, all of those attempts were thwarted by the powers that be, whether it be ruling party or opposition party. Whoever was in the corridors of power squashed the attempt to do so. Now, my question to you is, what is the way forward, since you do agree with the end governance, #end governance protests, and you want to participate, and your freedom to protest has been taken away from you, as you say, what is your next course of action?
As I speak to you, I'm trying to just tour around the entire Niger Delta state to give those states that have given the people the opportunity to express their view, like Rivers State, to give them solidarity that yes, this is the position of the people of the Niger Delta. And I'm also trying to get across, because the federal government of Nigeria decided to tag those that wanted to coordinate these protests as faceless people. We are all Nigerians. We don't need to hide our identity to make our position known to the Nigerian government. So we are also making an attempt to get across to those national coordinators so that at least we should set up a committee. When these 10 days are over, the next protest that will be coming, there will be no faceless group of persons. Those that will be coordinating the affairs of the protest against bad governance and hunger and inflation will have face, so that the government will know if they want to crucify us, they should come and crucify all of us. The message we want to pass across is that Nigerians are fed up. The people of the Niger Delta, especially the Ijaw extractors, are fed up with this governance that have decided to give the yearnings of the people deaf ear. The cost of living in our riverine communities are becoming unbearable. Inflation rate is over 200%. Cost of living is on the high side. People cannot get access to quality healthcare anymore. For you to get quality healthcare, that means you have to sacrifice your daily meal in order for you to get a good healthcare. And people are dying. It's unbecoming. And those that found themselves within the corridor of power in the Niger Delta have decided to suppress the voice of those that are in this suffering. Believe you me, it's a tenor system. They don't have what it takes to decide if they are going to give us freedom or not. It is our responsibility, it is our constitutional right to express our displeasure at any given point in time when governance has failed us. And the people of the Niger Delta are not an exception. We are part of the protest. If you go to the Warri axis, I can tell you for free, those within the corridor of power, we are using 2x2 plants. Wood. I can even send you pictures, evidence. Those that were heated, that got injuries. In Bayelsa State, the government of the day deliberately suppressed. I can tell you for free, those within the corridor of power hired thugs to attack peaceful protesters with arms and ammunition, firing openly at peaceful protesters. I was a major target, but believe you me, because of my information that I gathered, we have to distance ourselves from the main protesters to express, and I was able to coordinate my people, and we registered our displeasure on the first day of the protest. But after seeing that they have declared being wanted by the security agencies, that we are the people that want to go and cause mayhem and crisis, we have to take a bow and move to another of the Niger Delta states where Ijaw people are also having the pains of this bad governance that we are experiencing. So the people of the Niger Delta are also part of those that have hit by this bad governance and wrong economic policies. Even with the speech that Mr. President gave, you can see clearly that there is no hope for the people of the Niger Delta and Nigeria at large. Because after removing fuel subsidy, I was believing that if this president is a president that has economic understanding, by now, all the 3 refineries that is owned by the federal government would have been functional to be producing petrol to crash down the high cost of petrol products.
All right,
the refinery like Dangote refinery wouldn't have been having problem of having crude oil to produce petrol. The Ijaw refinery that is 90% completed would have been a partner by the federal government to make sure that by this point in time, Ijaw refinery in Bayelsa State would have been producing crude. The modular refineries that have completed their infrastructural by 90 to 100% would have been producing. But the insincerity of the government and lack of understanding of the plight of the people have made them not to give ears. And that is why we are saying that those that within the corridor of the NNPC and the Petroleum Ministry that have failed Mr. President after 1 year in office for these things not to come to office ought to have been fired. But just because the government of the day does not understand the cries of the people, that is why you can still see that those people are seen in office. Fire anybody that is in your team that is not performing, especially the Petroleum Ministry. Those persons need to be fired so that those that can bring the oil refineries to function so that petrol price can be reduced or crash down should be given the opportunity to manage their affairs. It is our nation. We are not against anybody, but a nation that will be giving us the needed dividends of democracy.
We certainly hear you. Thank you for your narration of what you said you experienced. Of course, over here we haven't had any reports of the government of Bayelsa attacking protesters from the facts that we have on ground. But let's touch on other matters that you highlighted. You said you've set up a committee that will not be faceless after the August 10th date, which is after which the period for the protest would probably have elapsed. And you also said that you plan to ensure that your voices are heard. And you mentioned an incident in Bayelsa State, we've already told you that we don't have those facts on ground. But since you also stated that you've been a target and declared wanted, I'm just wondering, how do you intend to ensure that after August 10th, you can carry out your civic and fundamental human rights of letting your voice be heard? But how do you plan to ensure that those that will join you and also you are safe while administering that right or exercising that right?
We have told the world that we are not a violent group of people. They were just trying to incite the security agencies against us just because we wanted to carry out a protest that Bayelsa State, our citizens are also experiencing the hunger and the hardship in the country. But the government of the day want to tell us that there is no hunger in our state. Bayelsa is one of the worst states when you come to infrastructure. A state that people can boast of 4 hours light a day. And the government of that state will come out to tell you that Bayelsa there is no hunger. It's laughable. We want sincerity of purpose. We the masses give you the mandate to manage our affairs for a period of 4 years. That does not mean that we are fools. How can you come that inflation that is affecting the entire nation is not affecting your state or the citizens that you are managing in your state? How is that possible? That alone is laughable.
Okay,
it's an irony.
Dr. Elias,
so what we are saying?
What's your position on?
What we are saying?
Okay, we've heard you. What's your position on the? Because we believe that the position of the Ijaw Youth Council through Jonathan Lokwoboyiri was that the 10-point agenda does not address the needs of the Niger Delta youth. That's according to Jonathan Lokwoboyiri. So is it a case that the Ijaw Youth Council has become factionalized, or what's the position? Because there are multiple messages now coming out of the Ijaw Youth Council.
But that is not a member of IYC. That name you are calling is an INC member by virtue of age and constitution of the IYC. Those are a group of people that they have brought to bring disunity in the Ijaw Youth Council.
So there's now factionalism within the Ijaw Youth Council?
There is no faction in Ijaw Youth Council. Those that are within the corridor of power that doesn't want the people, the masses, to have their say, are those persons that have brought that particular individual on board to cause mayhem, so that the voice of the people cannot be heard. But the Ijaw nation is bigger than those group of persons, and that is why you see that Ijaw nation have told them that that is not their president. I remain the president. But those that found themselves within the corridor of power believe that he will do their bidding by telling the world that there is no hunger in Ijaw nation while we are facing a lot of hunger, that there is no inflation in Ijaw nation while the people of Ijaw nation are having serious inflation-related issues, and they are telling you that there is good governance in Ijaw nation while there is none. So that one is not representing IYC. That is someone that is dining with those that found themselves within the corridor of power and they are not doing the bidding of Ijaw nation. Rather, is an image or an individual that has been brought into cost division in council just because he wants to do the bidding of those that are within the corridor of power. He's not speaking for the Ijaw nation, and he can never speak for Ijaw nation because he's not known in IYC. He can never be IYC president because by virtue of our constitution, he's over age. And IYC is not an organ of any government. IYC is a pressure group. And that is why we have told you that he's not speaking for the Ijaw nation. He's an appointee of government, and he is doing the bidding of the government of the day and not the bidding of Ijaw people. Ijaw people have come to tell the world that the inflation that is affecting Nigeria is affecting them. The hunger that is affecting Nigeria is affecting them. What they need is good policies that will uplift the living standard and the living condition of them that are living in the creeks, the royal areas. That is all. And that is the position of IYC. And that is why when they said that his faction said that IYC is not going to protest, nobody or no group of person took them serious because that is not the position of IYC. The Ijaw nation, the larger group of the Ijaw people have said that the hunger is also being felt in their place, and the national protest is about bad governance and hunger. So why will you now come and tell us that we are not part of such protest that has to do with our living condition, about the future generation of our youth and our people? We are part of the protest, and that is the position of IYC. Any other information or news that is coming from any other faction of IYC is not the position of IYC.
Well, now we'd like to thank you for your time and insight, Dr. Theophilus Alaye, President of the Ijaw Youth Council. Thank you for joining us here on Newsday. We appreciate your time and we wish you well.